Hello and welcome, my name is Dan, and today I wanted to talk to you about this game that I have bought this week and finished it on the same day, called Apocalipsis, Harry at the End of the World. So this week my teaching staff at my uni decided to cancel all the lectures and go on a strike, which I figured would mean that I will save some coffee money this week and I'll be able to buy something nice for myself. So I decided to buy a small indie game from my homeland. I'm not sure what would give it away, but I am a massive metal fan. Not like the spinny one that kind of... no, I do like spin, yeah, that's the thing. But I don't mean like the object that makes you, like, makes your room, like, less warm. I mean the one that kind of, like, listens to angry music. That's what I am. And I'm quite a big fan of this Polish band called Behemoth, and the leader of that band had been promoting this game, Apocalipsis, on his personal social media, as he did some voice acting for it. And from the trailers, the game looked very promising. It had a very interesting art style and very good sound design, and on top of that, the guy from the band did some voice acting for it. So I thought, you know what, this is only £7 with the soundtrack and the art book on Steam, so I thought, you know, that's my coffee money right there. Okay, so before I actually go into talking about the game itself, let me just touch on that promotional aspect of it, very much centered around Nurgle from Behemoth. So if you will look at any promotional things related to this game, all you'll get is maybe one trailer of the game and one trailer of Nurgle's voice acting. And in that trailer, Nurgle talks about how he did some reading for the game, and on top of that, how the game will use some of the Behemoth songs as inspiration for the soundtrack. So from the buyer's point of view, you kind of have this expectation that this game will be very heavily influenced by Behemoth, like, in general, right? But that's not really true. First thing, Nurgle really didn't get that many lines in the game. I think if you were to, like, sort of count the words in this video so far and compare them to his lines for that game, I think right now that's his paycheck right here, to be honest with you. So if you are buying this game expecting to hear a lot of his voice, that's not really gonna happen. That's not really gonna happen. You will hear him, but it's not that very often, to be honest, and not for that long. Behemoth's influence on the soundtrack in that game isn't that big. It's very, very little, in fact. And for those who haven't really got a trained ear or don't know Behemoth's songs that very well, they probably will never notice it. Personally, I don't think I would have noticed it if I didn't know that those links were there. You see, Behemoth uses those ambient backing tracks in the songs to build the sound a bit more. And the game's music is very similar to those backing tracks from Behemoth songs. Some of them might be actually very, very, very similar, but you won't really know. I don't think your casual gamer or your casual listener will not really notice those links that very well, I don't think. So yeah, if you are a Behemoth fan and you are buying this game purely for the references to the band and the musicians within that band, yeah, it's not really that strong. It's not really as strong as you might expect. So yeah, it is quite interesting though how they have picked Nurgle to be the narrator for this game. They knew what the target audience for this game will be. They have predicted that the people who will play this game will be into metal and, you know, demons. This being a Polish game kind of made perfect sense to approach Nurgle to do the reading for it. And Nurgle playing in a black metal band, singing about demons and occult, made the perfect sort of candidate. And he is also the only person from Poland that I think has that much following in the predicted target audience. Okay, so the game itself. So Apocalipsis tells a story of Harry, whose wife or girlfriend got accused of witchcraft. She got killed, and she has been sent to hell. So Harry, what he does is he goes to this witch's hut in the middle of a forest, performs this ritual, and that ritual allows him to reach sort of a limbo-like dimension through which he will be able to get to hell itself and find his beloved's soul and kind of bring her back to the land of living. So the game's world is split into different levels. Each level has its own little puzzles and its own little, you know, very point and clicky adventures, such as, you know, pick up this item to use it with this thing, and then that will unlock that thing, and then through that thing he'll be able to get this other thing that unlocks this other thing, and that's it, level done. Some other levels are a bit more creative, like for example there's one level where you have to aim cannons or catapults, I can't remember what it was exactly, at certain buildings in the level, and there's like a little puzzle connected to that you have to do to make sure that you get the right buildings. Or there's this other level which is all about running away from shells and bombs falling down from the sky. Other than Harry, there isn't really that many people in the game, other than maybe 3 or 4 other humans. The rest of the characters are either monsters or demons. Each character, however, is very distinct, and it really fits their level. So like for example, there's one level where you have to get on a ship to travel through the sea, and on that ship there is a captain, and you can clearly tell that the captain is a captain, and he has a massive reaper just above him, just I guess waiting for him to mess up the journey and sink and die. Or there is this girl or a woman who is very starved, very skinny, and she is pregnant. You kind of take care of her through a few levels. There are also a few monsters that I'm pretty sure I've seen on some paintings or mentioned in classical literature. These are again very well designed and drawn. None of the characters in the game actually speak at all. There is no dialogue other than Nergal's few lines during the cutscenes. The game's setting, you can really tell that this is a dead world. Like, if it wasn't for the limbo thing, I would describe it as a post-apocalyptic sort of medieval setting. And this world is really brought to you by these very distinctive and memorable hand-drawn graphics. Therefore, it kind of makes sense that there isn't really that many people in the game other than monsters and demons, because, well, this is a world which is dead, so there isn't really that many people in it, and it makes sense that every single person in that game is actually very sad or depressed or dying. Most puzzles in the game are quite easy, quite straightforward. You can really kind of tell what you have to do straight away. But those more complicated ones, those are the ones that are either not very well explained or not very clear as to what you have to achieve. And there is this one puzzle which I just really did not like. Every single point-and-click adventure game which has a sort of piano music based puzzle in it kind of expects you or wants you to know your music theory or musical notes, or kind of expects that you will go and actually learn those notes, I guess, just to solve the puzzle. So once you reach hell, there is this one puzzle where you have to fix this massive piano, and then you have to play this tune, this 4 or 5, 6 note tune to open this gate. And the music for that tune is written on a wall next to behind the piano. I don't think a game should approach its puzzles with the predicament that the player will know musical notes, because a lot of people don't. There is a difference between a hard puzzle and a puzzle that actually needs some actual knowledge to solve. And I don't think a game should approach the level designs or the puzzle design with that sort of predicament that somebody will actually have this real life knowledge. But yes, as I mentioned, the game itself is very short. I finished it pretty much straight away after I have bought it. The Steam reviews say that it will take an average player about 3 to 4 hours to finish the game. It took me 2 hours. I've seen full playthrough videos on YouTube which are about an hour long, so it's not a very long game, but it is a game that will cost you about £6 to £7, so it kind of it's kind of well justified, I would say. However, it does kind of feel like there are a few levels missing in this game. Like there are some links between the levels that don't really make sense, and I think the game should have been at least another half an hour longer. Really, just to fit in, just to fill those little links that are missing between the levels, because it doesn't always make sense how Harry got from one place to another, or like what he's actually trying to accomplish in that location. And that brings me to the point where I think Nagel should have had a few more lines, and there should have been a bit more cutscenes that would explain those locations and why Harry is going through those locations to get to hell. You know, there are links that are just not filled because of the length of the game. As far as I know, the game has two different endings. One of them is the true ending, and one of them, I guess, is the not true ending. Although I think the wording for that is quite wrong, because I don't think you can get a true, I don't think you can get a not true ending, because endings are all true because they do happen. So I think, and within the context of the endings, I think it would just made more sense to call it a happy ending and a sad ending, or a good ending and a bad ending. But yes, there are two ways to finish the game, and that kind of depends on if you have collected those special items throughout the levels. So all in all, considering the good and the bad of this game, I think if I was to give it a score from 1 to 10, I would probably give it a 6, considering all the good aspects of this game, such as the level designs, the graphics, the sound, the characters in the game, how they are designed. But this game has a few flaws, such as the sort of missing levels in the game that would kind of fill the links between certain levels that don't really make sense. It should have more narration, more explanation for the levels and for what's actually happening, because for the first half of the game I actually had not much of a clue what's going on. So yes, this has been my review for Apocalipsis, Harry at the End of the World. If you've played this game and you've got anything else to add, please do so in the comment section. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content from me, all the YouTube contents I'm gonna make at some point whenever I can be bothered to prioritize YouTube career over my actual degree, or whenever there is a next strike. So yeah, until then, I'll see you in the next video, I guess. Bye bye.